Good evening, race fans, and welcome once again to the Eldora Speedway. It is round number 4 of the Kickin' the Tires lower half dash here on STN, and we are proud to have you alongside with us. I'm joined in the booth by Justin Prince, who's hopping up here with me once again, Justin, and this is a combo we saw back a couple of weeks ago. It's originally how this series got started. Dirt Street Stocks at Eldora. They put on a show, and I think they're poised to do that yet again.
Absolutely. These drivers have been preparing all day long or in the past couple of moments or so to make sure they're ready for what should be a competitive race tonight. Everyone fairly close in pace tonight. The top half of the field separated by just 0.3 of a second in their fastest laps in practice tonight, Blake. These drivers have been competitive while preparing for this dirt track. It should be a fun one tonight.
And it should be, and that's been one of the mysteries that surrounded this series is the track and the schedule, something that is kept on the down low until we approach the event to keep this as fun and, not as much about preparation, as much about going out there and just trying to have a good time. Or these guys here kicking the tires. We appreciate all of you for tuning in, and we're set for a very exciting show tonight. But before we get started, we'll go ahead and have a couple of words with Jerry Jordan, the owner of Kickin' the Tires and responsible for helping us put this on. And Jerry, it's week number 4 of this thing. Of course, a lot of things have changed in this world over the last couple of weeks, but one thing that has been constant is being able to come out here on Friday night and see these guys put on a unique show that is very different from anything else that's going on in iRacing these days. A bit of a technical issue there. We'll look to get Jerry Jordan back in the booth here in a little bit. Of course, we want to talk to him and find out all that's going on and Kicking the Tires as our qualifying session will continue to march on. We have 5 minutes on the clock here in qualifying. The clock continues to wind down. Most of the drivers have started to put down their lap times, but of course, we look at the top of the board right now. Justin, Tanner Berryhill, 20.093 is our top time right now.
Yeah, Berryhill's been fairly consistent whenever he's been on the track so far this season. It was actually very quick the last time these cars were on the dirt. It's a track, mind you, that has its interesting moments where you have to take different lines. It's very worn in, as you can already tell by how many laps some of these drivers have. Fairly tacky already. Many of them, though, prefer that cushion, as we're already seeing, and trying to get that to stick. The thing is, though, with the street stock on the dirt, compared to, say, the sprint car or the late model, it can be tricky to try and hold onto your line and get the proper amount of rotation without over-revving the car or slamming into the wall.
Well, and that is one thing I think we'll see a lot tonight, Justin, is cars making contact with the outside wall here at Eldora as they look to take the long but fast way around this racetrack here in Rossburg, Ohio. Of course, Tony Stewart's Eldora Speedway, one of the great venues in the country, let alone the world, and being able to watch some of the greatest dirt racers put on a show. We saw them do it a couple of weeks ago in this series. Then we took a bit of a turn in how some of these things were run. We ran some off-road trucks, Lucas Oil off-road trucks at Watkins Glen International. We then made the trek down to Daytona, ran around the super speedway there, and saw one of the craziest shows that you or I, Justin, or even Jacob Seelman, who was with us in the booth then, has ever seen. And then obviously we decided that this combo put on a pretty great show last time by. We decided to revisit it once again. And it looks like as qualifying continued to wind down, nobody has touched Tanner Berryhill at the top of the board yet. Just a couple of cars have yet to make their qualifying times on the board. Right now it's Austin Kimbrell, Will Rogers, and Jerry Jordan, who we were looking to talk to a little bit earlier, which a little bit of speculation on whether he would come out here and run some laps or try to compete with these guys. So not sure if as the time continues to wind down, it's looking like the possibility of him competing tonight is a little bit lower, but also something worth mentioning and a little bit of a fun prize that these guys get to run for tonight, courtesy of Eric Howard, is that the Wicked Maine Lobsters are going to be out heavy tonight. The iRacing scheme that you may see from a couple of these drivers has the Wicked Maine Lobster colors on the side of the car. Anyone who runs this paint scheme will be eligible to potentially receive 2 free lobsters. So to the highest finisher who runs this paint scheme, you'll be able to have 2 free lobsters from WML sent to your door, Justin. A pretty neat surprise, and something we could all use right here.
Yeah, that should be absolutely interesting to see which driver can try and come away with that. There's plenty of drivers who actually have brought out those lobster machines tonight. Should be fun to see them fight across this racetrack tonight, but guess what? We're about to have a wild bumping and banging heat. 29 cars, Blake, 10 advance.
Well, and how about that? We're going to have one heck of a show here, as nearly every car that put down a time in qualifying is out here on the grid. And we'll go ahead and give you the order. It looks like this. It'll be Ryan Ellis who rolls off from position number 1. J.R. Houston in second. Bailey Curry on the inside of row number 2 in third. Kyle McFadden in fourth, Jared Overstreet in fifth. Second in points, he's the outside of row number 3, and Nick Olson rolling off from the 6th position. Cody Ware in 7th, Noah Lewis in 8th, Matthew Lady in 9th, and Justin Malillo rounds out the top 10.
Tommy Joe Martin starts in 11th with Josh Altice in the 12th position. Seth Eggert in 13th, Joey Gase in 14th. Mason St. Hilaire starts in 15th tonight with Raman in 16th position. Danny Saponsky comes into 17th in qualifying with Ashton in 18th. Stephen Ellis and Stephen Parsons round out the top 20.
21st will be David Kriske, 22nd Andrew Hawley, 23rd Josh Dowell, 24th Scott Haller, 25th Justin Schuler, 26th will be Enrique Torres, 27th Casey Elliott, 28th Will Rogers, 29th. If he elects to come out here, will be Jerry Jordan. Austin Kimbrell didn't pull a time in qualifying and doesn't look like he made the grid for this one. However, Justin, top 2 qualifiers have the opportunity to skip this heat. They will not be in it, so kudos to Tanner Berryhill and Colin Fern as they will get out here unscathed because they don't have to come out here and run this heat. So we'll run these street stocks around Eldora once again. As we mentioned last time, looking forward to see who can come out on top. You see 3 of the Wicked Maine Lobster entries up at the top of the board. 2 of them with 32s on the side, and Ryan Ellis being the one who has control of the field. He has the restart, and we're green flag racing here at Eldora.
Through turn number 1, most of the drivers electing to take the middle to top line along to the back straightaway. Along that D-shaped back straightaway. J.R. Houston slides his way into second position. Battle for third is on. Curry trying to hold off Kyle McFadden in the top 3.
And this is where we'll see that bottom lane be its most competitive before it's all slicking off right here. Kyle McFadden right along the inside retaining wall here at Eldora. He'll tuck it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Bailey Curry able to hold on for third. But right now here comes a mounting charge from our second place points stander, Nick Olson. He's looking around the high side looking for fourth.
Olson with a good run of momentum into turn number 1. Rides the cushion this time through 1 and 2. Can he keep his foot in it down the back straightaway? Yes, side by side. Now for the 4th position. Has a good run. Slides his way past McFadden in 3 and 4. Move Olson for the time being up inside the top 4.
And move him inside the top 4. There's a pretty hefty battle going on just behind them between Cody Ware on the inside line. And of course you have Noah Lewis who's able to make his way by in the NOS Energy Camaro. Looking to try to make their way by. They were nearly 3 wide down the back straightaway just a lap ago. But Noah Lewis getting the better of that battle. He'll move forward and call it in the 7th position.
Currently, the driver in control of the bubble spot is Justin Malillo, riding in the middle line. 2 drivers slide behind in 1 and 2. Joey Gase and Seth Eggert trying to close the gap in fast. Malillo puts a ton of wheel into turn 3. He tries to hold off the charging Gase on the high side. Eggert on the bottom side in 3 and 4.
And Eggert trying to find his way by Joey Gase as they nearly lead on each other here in 1 and 2. Contact almost made as Eggert will slide on up. Joey Gase will get the better end of that battle near the back half of the top 10. It is Malillo who hangs onto that 10th spot, and now here comes Joey Gase to the high side.
Battle continues now. Malillo with the pressure. This time across the flag stand, coming to the final couple laps of the heat. Joey Gase slides on the bottom side, pushes Malillo up. Malillo up on the cushion. Malillo hits the wall. Hits Eggert. Multiple drivers try and follow the bottom side. Eggert slides his way up into position. Trying to hold on his Gase for the final lap as contact behind. Multiple drivers spin.
And multiple drivers involved in that, but as we know, no cautions in this one, and we got a pretty hefty battle going on for our race lead. Ryan Ellis on the inside, J.R. Houston on the outside. They may have to avoid a flipping car here on the front straightaway. Houston is involved, up and over, and somehow lands it on 4 tires. J.R. Houston, what a remarkable recovery there as they came to the stripe for the final time. Across the start-finish line was Ryan Ellis, who won, Nick Olson second, Bailey Curry third, and J.R. Houston, who nearly had the race won. He ends up doing a pirouette here on the front straightaway, lands it on 4 tires, and he will bring it home in 4th.
What a crazy finish. I don't think I've seen anything like that in my life, Blake. But McFadden ends up getting through to 5th, Overstreet in 6th. Lewis comes home in P number 7. Should I say Cody Ware in 7th with Noah Lewis in 8th. Then Lady comes home in 9th. And Maluo holds on to the bubble spot with all the craziness in the final lap of the quarter.
Malillo's able to hang on there to a top 10 spot. Those top 10 will move on to our main event tonight. Now we're down to the consolation race. It'll be the top 16 of 19, so only 3 get to go home, and we'll see if now is a good time to pull our very own Jerry Jordan out here from Kicking the Tires. Jerry, again, we want to welcome you back into the booth. Hope we got you right there, and just want to talk about, this series. With everything going on in iRacing, everybody doing all these different series coming out here and doing everything serious. How has it been to be able to put this thing together and allow these guys to lay their hair down, as you would say, and just allow these guys to go out there and just have a good time?
Jerry Jordan, do you have a copy, sir?
And again, it seems like more technical issues there for Jerry Jordan, unfortunately. We saw him watching out there in the chat, but we'll try to get him up here one of these times. Hopefully 3rd time's the charm as we'll talk to him. Go ahead and give you the lineup here for our consolation race. Taking the top 16 and 19, only bottom 3 go home. Seth Eggert, Matt Lady in the first row. Daniel Saponsky will roll off from 3rd. Andrew Hawley in 4th. Mason St. Hilaire in 5th. Casey Elliott in 6th. Stephen Ellis 7th. Joey Gase 8th. Enrique Torres in 9th. And Jason Ashton in 10th.
Altai starts in 11th position. Then Scott Holler starts in 12th. Schuler in 13th. Krisky in 14th position today in the Roush machine with Ramen in 15th. Parsons in 16th. Those 2 cars were stopped in the front straight with a flip. Dowell, Rogers, and Jerry Jordan's watching along from the technical 19th position as these drivers get ready for the green flag. But if you're Seth Eggert, you're hoping you keep it clean. The rest of these drivers battling for their starting positions tonight.
Indeed, they are, and we'll try to get it going one more time. 20 laps here for this consolation. Again, bottom 3 are the only ones that go home, as Seth Eggert will have control of this field. Green flag in the air. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and just try this one more time. Jerry, we got you here in the booth as we're green flag racing here in the consi. You got a copy?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I'm here now.
All right, sounds good. Well, as these guys are rocketing and even a little bit of contact, one car flipping here in 3 and 4 as they work their way around the first lap here at Eldora in the street stocks. But, Jerry, one of the things we were going to ask you about was kind of talking about, we've had all this serious racing going on. How's it been to kind of be the spearhead of this series where, with everything that's going on right now, this is just an opportunity for these guys to simply put, just go out there and have fun?
Well, I've got to give all the credit to Ryan Ellis and to Cody Ware and to Tommy Joe Martins. They came up with the idea. I just came up with a sponsorship to help these guys out and help anybody really. It's the lower half dash, but anybody could get involved in this. And I've actually lobbied some of the other drivers to try and come and race in it. But it's been so good that next week we're doing it again. We're extending it one more week, and I've heard that it's going to be a very, very entertaining race next weekend.
No, certainly so. We've seen our fair share of good racing here that's even going on right now in this consolation race. Good battle for second there as it looks like Andrew Hawley able to make his way by and up into that second spot. But certainly so. It's been something that's a little bit different. But go ahead and talk about what you guys are thinking, especially the type of coverage you've had here at Kicking the Tires while everything's been kind of put on hold for a little bit.
I've got a great staff. We've got 9 reporters and photographers that work for Kicking the Tires. Seth Eggert does all of our iRacing and esports stuff, and he's been great. He's in this race tonight. We've also got Justin Schuler. We've got Sarah. We've got, Summer Bedgood. I'm going through the, Matt Corson. I'm going, Zach Tanzaretti, and all of them do a great job. But what we've been trying to do in this break is tell the stories that others might miss, and also just keep people, aware. Hey, be safe, but have fun.
Well, certainly so. Well, we know you've been cooped up for a little bit, and how excited are you to finally, with the new announcements and stuff, how ready are you to finally get to Darlington and hopefully a little bit of a return to normalcy for all you guys in the media?
Well, I don't know if I'm invited to Darlington, but I have told NASCAR that I will be at Darlington. They are expecting me, whether I get to go into the press box or not, because there are some stipulations. You have to have temperature checks and all this stuff, and that's fine. I'm healthy, but I understand what they're doing. Still, I'll be at the track in some capacity to tell the story for all of our fans and for all the race fans out there.
Certainly so. And before we let you go, one last question, Jerry. Can we see you drive out here next week? How about it?
I promised to drive next week, but I did go out there and turn some laps. I thought maybe I could pull it off with on this dirt stuff, but I'm not that good at it. I really didn't want to impact the field. But I promise you I will race next weekend. And I do want to send a shout out to Mike Fulgens and Universal Coin and Bullion. They are the ones that have donated the solid gold coin that is signed by Miley Tucker Frost, that is going to go to the winner of the series, the points leader at the end of this thing next week. I will find them, and I will give them this first place prize.
Well, we look forward to it, Jerry. And again, thank you for everything you do to put on this series, and hopefully we'll be talking to you here soon.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for calling the races, and you've done a great job. I appreciate it. And like I said, one more week, but be aware, Kicking the Tires is all in on this iRacing thing, so we're going to be doing some one-off races and some different sponsorships as well. We're looking forward to it.
We certainly are, Jerry. That's Jerry Jordan, the founder of Kicking the Tires. As we look forward, Justin, we didn't want to forget Andrew HAWLEY was originally leading this race. He's now gotten wrecked, spun, and is now recovered in the 11th position. That's still a transfer spot, but an awfully long way from the race lead.
Yeah, in total, once iRacing sorted things out based on the field number, coming to 8 laps to go, Mark, 16 total would advance. Only 1 would be going home. That's currently Josh Dow, unfortunately for him, who's 11 laps down. Everybody else got into a good rhythm, with Eggert in the lead by a good 1.2 seconds down the front straightaway. He slides into turn 2, with the battle continues for second on back.
Well, battle for second brewing heavily now, as Saponski able to find his way to the outside of Lady. That brings the 51 machine into this mix as well. Joey Gase will try to go to the bottom side. He started all the way back in 8th. Now looking for a piece of position number 2. Gase down to the inside as they'll cross the stripe this time. It'll be 6 laps to go here from Eldora in our consolation race. Leader slides up. Eggert is out of control. Joey Gase to the lead.
Joey Gase slides his way on the cushion in the race lead. Eggert regains control. Now it's a 3-car scrap down the back straight. Trying to fight hard for the race lead now down the front straightaway. Gase tries to pull away. Eggert now slides to the bottom side, trying to gain momentum. Back up to the middle side, gets started around. Eggert spins. Eggert drops down the pylon, drops his way out of the top 9.
And again, Eggert will get tagged once again, but again, still in a transfer spot right now. That battle is heated for second. Several cars close in behind him. Right now, it's Stephen Parsons in that Skull Machine looking for a piece of the second spot. Saponski trying to hang on as Parsons will look middle. They're 2 wide behind them in Casey Elliott and Joshua Altis.
As that's gone on, Gase is pulled away now by 1.1 seconds. Saponski still continues to play defense, though. Parsons trying to ride along the cushion in the Skull Bandit machine. Saponski putting tons of wheel in it. Has to overcorrect. Here comes the run. Gase tries to watch in the mirror as Parsons tries to battle along the cushion. Parsons slams the cushion. So does Casey Elliott. As all the cars wrap their way off 4.
And Parsons and company will take the stripe. This time, 2 laps to go. Parsons now looking for a piece of second. Slide job. He'll throw it in. And they're both hooked into the outside wall. The Skull Bandit machine is around. Stephen Parsons gets turned. A couple more cars get collected. And Saponski and Joshua Altis. This allows the second place spot to go to Casey Elliott as he'll take the white flag.
Final lap of this consolation to certify where drivers will finish and start for the feature tonight. Gase making his way through turn 3 and 4, rides in the middle line, slides up towards the cushion. He'll take it home by a significant margin. Joey Gase wins the consolation. Casey Elliott comes home in second position. Lady comes home in third. And quietly, Torres comes home with the top 4 after starting in 9th.
Well, and actually looking at this field, the transfers have been well decided for a little bit, as falling 19 laps down and again only making a couple of laps in this consolation race was Josh Dowell. He did not see the checkered flag after falling 20 laps down, so our top 16 ahead of him all transfer in. Mason St. Hilaire, the last one that transfers in, as now we'll have our lineup of 28 set for the Kickin' the Tires lower half dash. Round number 4 here from the Eldora Speedway, brought to you by Kickin' the Tires. Started by Jerry Jordan in 2000, Kickin' the Tires is a multi-platform motorsports media outlet primarily focused on NASCAR, but also covering AMA Supercross, the IMSA Sport Cars, the NTT IndyCar Series, local short track events, and major one-off racing events for other genres as well. Stay informed and up to date on what happens in and around the garage by visiting Kickin' the Tires. That's kickinthetiresnog.net. As we'll take a look now, the starting grid for round number 4 of the Kickin' the Tires lower half dash. It'll be Tanner Berryhill and Colin Fern, our top 2 qualifiers from earlier who transferred in the first row. Ryan Ellis will start 3rd, Nick Olson in 4th, Bailey Curry in 5th, J.R. Houston in 6th, Kyle McFadden 7th, Jared Overstreet in 8th, Noah Lewis 9th, and Cody Ware in 10th.
11th position tonight, we'll see Tommy Joe Martin start alongside Justin Malou. Then you have the drivers coming straight from the Consi and into the feature. Joey Gase, Casey Elliott, Matthew Leite, along with Torres in the top 16, Rahman in 17th, Andrew Hawley starts in 18th, Stephen Ellis in 19th, and Stephen Parsons in the 20th spot.
Seth Egger will roll off 21st, 22nd goes to David Kriske, 23rd Daniel Saponsky, 24th Scott Holler, 25th Jason Ashton, 26th Justin Schuler, 27th Joshua Altus, 28th, and the final car that will be making their start tonight is Mason St. Hilaire. It is 75, count it, 75 laps that will make it around the Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio tonight. Largely the same format that we saw just a couple of weeks ago when we got this thing started in round number 1. But again, even as Jerry mentioned, the championship prize is what everybody is after, that precious gold coin. And right now, in control of that is Bailey Curry, who currently leads the points with a 16-point lead over Nick Olson. Brad Perez in 3rd, Cody Ware in 4th, and Ford Martin will round out the top 5 in the point standings. But right now, Tanner Berryhill, pace truck goes off. He'll waste no time. We're green flag racing from Eldora in round number 4 of the Kickin' the Tires lower half dash. Berryhill will throw the slider up top. Here comes Colin Fern looking to the inside.
The Brandon Belt employee tries to slide around deep send to the bottom side. All the way up to the cushion. Move Colin Fern up to the race lead. Crossover comes back from Berryhill. Make it side by side for the race lead into 1 and 2.
Side by side for the race lead. They're roughly 3 wide behind them. The battle for 4th. Here comes Fern to the bottom side of the racetrack once again as Tanner Berryhill scrapes the outside retaining wall. Nick Olson looking for a way by. Nearly contact between the 2 race leaders. They'll work it off of 4. Another charge on the bottom. Berryhill and Fern exchanging the lead with J.R. Houston now throwing the slide job.
Berryhill up to the race lead. Houston bounces his way around. Multiple cars getting loose. Colin Fern hits the inside wall. Noah Lewis in the inside wall. 2 cars spun around. No caution flag. We stay green. Rest of the leaders fighting 3 wide on the front stretch.
And that was Noah Lewis, who also got tagged as they're nearly 3 wide for the race lead once again. Once again, Bailey Curry down to the bottom side. There are points leader coming in tonight. He'll look to the inside of another fellow Wicked Maine lobster machine in J.R. Houston. Bailey Curry all the way down to the inside retaining wall, looking for the shortest way around this racetrack. It'll be that 95 Wicked Maine lobster car that will have the second spot at the stripe, all chasing Tanner Berryhill, still banging around on the top side.
That Berryhill Bane machine looks to try and bane its way into victory lane, trying to avoid baning the wall down the front. Side by side for second, Curry has to try the bottom side. Houston still preferring the cushion. Most of the field moving up to the top side now. Back down the back straightaway. Houston gets clear. Now it's side by side for third as Olsen comes forward.
And Curry will look down low once again. Here comes a slide job for the lead, but J.R. Houston will come up short. He'll make contact on the inside with Bailey Curry. It's now a three-wide battle for second. Houston will throw it into the corner, slide up in front of Olsen. Here comes the counterpunch from that City Chevrolet. Now Olsen will peek it down to the bottom side. Three wide here at Eldora. Nick Olsen to the bottom side, looking to slide up in front. Great racing action going on here as Houston and Curry get together. It's a near-dead heat. This is exactly what our race leader in Tanner Berryhill wants to see.
They avoid lap traffic up in front. Olsen back to single file. Curry able to slide his way back to second. J.R. Houston now goes for the slide job through 3 and 4. Comes across Olsen. Olsen with the crossover move once again. They door bang down the front stretch. Door bang for Curry against the wall. Back through 1 and 2 they go as lap traffic is up in front at Seth Eggert.
Oh, and Seth Eggert's going to get turned, and that'll jumble things up here. Second is still able to escape as Eggert gets turned around in the middle of 1 and 2, and that allows this blanket in a battle for second that will not cease. It is now 4, call it 5 cars all battling here for the number 2 spot. J.R. Houston still locked in tow with Bailey Curry. Now Overstreet into the 4th. Tommy Joe Martins will round out your top 5.
The battle for the Lobsters continues in second position. Curry still trying to get as close as he can to the cushion. Houston uses the wall to try and straighten up the car in 3 and 4. Good run for Houston. Tries to slide again to the bottom. The LFR employee slides his way up into second, hits the wall, crossover for Curry, down the back straightaway, they bump and bang.
And still it is Curry and Houston battling for the second spot. They'll now have to navigate through a little bit of lap traffic in the form of Jason Ashton. Again, 10 laps on the board as we work it towards lap 12 now, actually, of 75. Not even 20% of the way in. Big slide job. Bailey Curry will shove the lap car of Ashton into the outside wall. This allows J.R. Houston counterpunch on the inside in his Mangle 95 Wild Maine Lobster machine. Now here comes Curry to the outside once again. Jarrett Overstreet now looking to the bottom side. That's the battle for 4th. And Tommy Joe Martins now here to play.
Where did he come from? A +7 for Tommy Joe Martins tonight. Down the back straightaway, lap car hits the wall in front of him. Lap car electing to stay in the cushion. Ashton still becoming a wedge between Martins' 4th place opportunity. Lap car instead spins his way out of the way. Clears up the space for Martins to close in for the battle for second.
And Tommy Joe Martins doing the best he can as one car stopped here on the back straightaway. That's once again Stephen Parsons in the Skull Bandit machine as he's going to park it and eventually try to get his way moving forward. But now everyone in lockstep around the top side is Casey Elliott now, which, have to be honest there, got a little confused there. Thought he was Bailey Curry for a second as he gets spun around. Colin Fern is on the inside slowing off the pace. And now, big lap traffic for our race leader in the form of Tanner Berryhill, still leading this field as he has since the drop of the green flag. But he has, call it about 6, 7 cars directly in front of him, and he's going to have to try really hard here, Justin, to navigate through this traffic.
Traffic is extremely thick, and remember, drivers do have damage tonight, meaning if they severely damage the race cars, it could mean the difference between winning the race and finishing in the pit lane tonight. Berryhill gets by a couple drivers. The thick of things, though, getting very busy. Berryhill now has to deal with 2-3 drivers bumping and banging in front of him down the back straightaway. Saponsky gives him space. Berryhill goes for the slide job to get by him. Stephen Ellis rides the cushion. Ellis gives him the squeeze off 4.
And now Berryhill will try his best to work down on the bottom side, and it looks like it's going to be successful, at least for the time being. Is that Bang machine able to work his way up to the top side through about, call it 3 lap cars, but that does not mean there's still not great racing going on the racetrack. There's still a hefty battle going on for second. Once again, it is J.R. Houston who has found his way up into the second spot. He hangs on as Bailey Curry, our points leader, looking for a way around. They'll now have to navigate through the lap traffic that our race leader just got through as Curry is up and in the outside wall.
Curry runs the cushion. Everybody and their friends are up on the cushion now. That's where the most amount of speed has gone in the late, going in the mid portion, rather, of this race. In 1 and 2, Curry loses time. Houston still trying to get his way past more cars. Leader involved in trouble. It's Berry Hill on the bottom of the racetrack with lap traffic. Here comes the battle for the race lead. Houston now within range. Side by side, making contact with the lap car. Side by side up turn 4 for the lead.
And what is nearly a dead heat and a change for the race lead at the line. J.R. Houston up to the top spot for the time being. He has that preferred lane all the way up on the high side as 2 lap cars come together in front of him. J.R. Houston to the race lead. Berry Hill now hanging on for second and hanging on for dear life. Here comes Bailey Curry as the caution flag waves.
And this is going to really bunch up the field once again. Multiple drivers already a lap down, about 15 on the lead lap. And just at the time of the caution flag, J.R. Houston moved his way to the point. What a battle across this race.
It certainly has been, as we have seen battles for the lead up inside the top 5 and a fair share of lap traffic that may not have come at a better time in this race for Justin Malillo, who was just about to go a lap down. He'll maintain his spot on the lead lap. It is Noah Lewis who is the first scored 1 lap down, so I believe either he will get the lucky dog or we'll have a couple of waiver rounds to get what is now several cars, column 9, that went a lap down during that 23-lap green flag run. It is J.R. Houston up front, Berry Hill second, Bailey Curry in third, Nick Olson fourth, Tommy Joe Martins in fifth, rounds out the top 5, Jared Overstreet in sixth. Ryan Ellis is in the 7th spot, Cody Ware up from 10th to 8th, Joey Gase in 9th, Kyle McFadden will round out your top 10. We'll look, and again, want to thank Universal Coin for jumping on with us here and sponsoring the championship prize. Universal Coin and Bullion is a presenting sponsor of the Kickin the Tires Lower Half Dash Series and is sponsoring the prize that will be awarded to the overall points champion. Lower Half Dash Series titleist will receive a 10th ounce, $5 certified gold coin with holder included that is hand-signed by Mikey Tucker Frost, the designer of the family of Eagles on the back of all U.S. Gold Eagle Bullion coins. For more information on Universal Coin and Bullion, visit universalcoin.com. But Justin, I think when we look out over this action, as we'll now pace under the yellow flag once again, we are on lap 24 of 20, or call it 25 now, as we'll cross the stripe once again. Lights are out on the pace truck, but Justin, we have seen no shortage of action here.
Yeah, it has been absolutely crazy, to say the very least, and it's just the nature of how these races have gone so far in each and every one of these events. They're very entertaining. They've gotten very wild. Interesting situation here is there's 1, a delayed caution flag. 2, Tommy Joe Martins has elected to come into pit. So he has now pulled off the racetrack, should note, from the 6th position, and will shake up the order just a little bit. But interesting race so far, and a lot of cars with a lot of bumping and banging on the circuit.
Well, and actually an update on the Tommy Joe Martins machine. He has now decided to pull it behind the wall and will be done for this evening's race. I believe he may have had a prior commitment that may have conflicted here. So Tommy Joe Martins, after running in the top 5, unfortunately for him, not able to finish this one out. He's going to retire, pull off, and it looks like he'll finish up in about the 26th spot. But once again, Berry Hill and Houston on the front row. It is Houston who has control of the race, will get the green flag this time by, as now he'll rocket into 1, looking for the slide job here on Berry Hill. Berry Hill will kind of punch to the bottom. Oh, and Berry Hill contact there with the car directly behind him. That's Bailey Curry hanging on for 4th. Here comes the race lead. Tanner Berryhill to the top spot. Here comes the crossover from J.R. Houston, who has it at the line. They're 3 wide behind him for 3rd.
Bumping and baiting in multiple positions. Slide jump from Houston up to the cushion. Berry Hill tries to call back forward. Side by side for the race lead. Once again in the D shape. Back straight away. Berry Hill sends it along the bottom. This time doesn't get as much speed. Houston rides along the cushion. Diamonds the corner in turn 4. Lead lap goes to Berry Hill, but Houston keeps it strong in the lead.
Houston does keep it strong, and they're still battling hard behind them. Ryan Ellis is now coming to the picture as he's worked his way back into the top 5. Jared Overstreet now able to make his way by for 5th. Ellis to the bottom side of the racetrack as they're stacked up there as Olsen hits the outside retaining wall here on the exit of the corner. It's Ellis trying to make some moves. He's now up to 4th, working to the bottom side of the racetrack. They're still side by side for the lead.
Houston this time tries to ride the cushion once more. Berryhill still trying to wrestle his way forward. Can he bane his way to the top of the pylon? Yes. Good run off 4. Tanner Berryhill to the race lead. Houston in 2nd. Battle continues for 3rd on back.
It does, as now Bailey Curry was able to slide up and poked himself just in front of the nose of Nick Olsen. Olsen slides back to 5th as Ryan Ellis now call it 3rd highest running Wicked Maine Lobster machine in this field. Ellis now into the 4th spot, 3rd on that trying to get the free lobster, as now he'll once again go to the bottom side looking to protect Nick Olsen, who's now not only in 5th, but Jared Overstreet looking for a part of the 6th position. Kyle McFadden has now worked his way up into the 7th spot as well.
Lead back on forward, though. The battle continues amongst Houston and Berryhill. They're side by side. Houston went for the slide in 3 and 4. Berryhill goes for the slide in 1 and 2. Crossover from Houston. Houston retakes the lead. Contact again. Houston bounces off the wall. He strains it out as Berryhill slides on the bottom side. Lap traffic of Casey Elliott makes it 3 wide. Nearly hits one of the Lobster fellow compatriots as Houston leads the lap.
And they had to split that lap traffic there, but Berryhill and Houston found a way to make it work. Now, once again, Berryhill on the bottom side, nearly a dead heat as they work it down the back straightaway. Berryhill to the bottom side, he'll clip the left front on the wall. That's going to check him up a little bit, move J.R. Houston to the lead, as now he's able to scurry away by a couple of car lengths. That contact with the inside wall, that brings Bailey Curry into the fold. Curry on the outside looking for 2nd. And it looks like he may have a piece of it. Berryhill holding strong on the bottom side as they're side by side for 2nd. Curry looking for the 2nd spot.
Still side by side for 2nd position, but trouble in front of them. Car stopped in the track. It's David Kriske. Can the leaders avoid him? Yes. That was after 3 cars stacked up in 1 and 2. Berryhill loses 2nd position, and the caution flag is out for the stopped cars in the middle of the circuit in 1 and 2.
Well, not only that, you had an accident on the exit of turn 4 between Jason Ashton and Daniel Saponsky that I believe actually came out a little bit after our original caution flag, but of course this caution flag out for David Kriske. Heavy damage. It looks like that hot dog is bent up a little bit on the back end as that Oscar Myers Mustang going to have to work his way and call the tow truck here to pit lane. As Justin mentioned a little bit earlier on in the night, no fast repair for these guys and damage is on. So anything that you get out there, well, guess what? It's going to stick with you for the rest of the night. And these street stocks, they can take quite a punch. But I think Kriske there, you saw all the big-time damage on the rear end of that race car. May be too much for him to come back from.
Especially if the car has taken so many licks. Yeah, there are a lot of drivers that have been chugging along, though, with bend-up fenders. One of the main things with the street stocks for dirt is many drivers talk about their durability, about being able to take a lot of door-to-door contact and bumping and banging. But there is a potential limit eventually, though, of course, to make sure that you don't end up, say, damaging the engine or damaging the suspension that would affect your ability to actually make it around the racetrack. Many of these cars not electing to sacrifice the track position and continue to chug along, and their speed, for the most part, has been affected, even though in some cases, their entire front noses have been crumpled in.
Well, they have been, but I don't think that's going to affect the speed, as you were alluding to. A lot of cosmetic damage, or what ends up being cosmetic damage here at Eldora. I mean, you think back to, really any dirt race, whether it's street stocks here, or even think about to the Mud Summer Classic you've had a couple of times here at Eldora, and how bit up those trucks can get. It doesn't seem to hurt the speed, and luckily for these street stocks, they're obviously not the most equipped cars in terms of horsepower, but this little bit of damage, it's not really going to hurt any of these guys like J.R. Houston that are up there, and even the crinkled nose of Bailey Curry. You can see them up there in the top 2 spots. I don't think they're sweating with the little bit of damage that they have.
Hence why people talk about how durable these machines have been, as hit upon a little bit there. But as these drivers regroup themselves here, it's going to be interesting how these 35 laps or so fare out here, I think, Blake, because it has been crazily competitive up towards the front. Curry, Houston, and Berryhill have been fighting for that race lead. constantly. 6 lead changes already in this race. And there are multiple others now who I think might be in the conversation if they get the opportunity, like Olsen, like McFadden, who might be able to have a shot here to try and take over the race lead, depending on how things shape out in front of them, especially since many of the cars have now shown they prefer that cushion to maintain pace and try and go for aggressive slide jobs to get the passes done.
And we'll see what's happening with that, as well as now J.R. Houston. He's given about, let's call it 15 car lengths to the pace truck here, as the pace truck will already pull off. This gives Houston all that time to play with these guys. He has control of the restart. Goes a little bit later than you would have expected, but J.R. Houston, a great launch. How about a great launch for that 17 machine? Tanner Berryhill on the bottom side, able to work his way up into second, as now Nick Olsen will make contact behind him. Oh, trouble. Big accident here in turn 1, and Jared Overstreet is involved. Jason Ashton gets involved in it as well. Nick Olsen, again, on the podium here in the points. He gets spun to initially cause this accident. Takes out about 3 or 4 cars with him as they'll scurry on by. No heavy damage, except to one, perhaps Mason St. Hilaire, who ends up on his roof and up and over here on the back straightaway. Big accident here on the exit of the corner, and because of that, we'll have our 3rd caution flag of the evening.
Fortunate for Mason. Went off the edge of Nick Olsen's nose, in fact, and basically ramped off it. You also had Fern that also spun around to the front straightaway as well. So it was a very busy incident where multiple drivers just bounced and banged off one another, with multiple different drivers fighting for the preferred positions and trying to get the momentum up for the start. And just nowhere to go for many of the other drivers, as some of them just ended up getting tangled up in that, as we see.
Certainly so. Well, we'll go ahead and give you a full race rundown here as we'll approach what'll nearly be 30 laps to go when we get things going once again. It is J.R. Houston, Tanner Berryhill, our top 2, Bailey Curry running in 3rd, Ryan Ellis in 4th, Kyle McFadden in 5th, Cody Ware in the 6th spot, Stephen Ellis in 7th, Joshua Altus in 8th, Joey Gase in 9th, and then how about this, marching his way up from 17th, Monin Rahman, he's up in the 10th spot.
Yeah, good job for the Rick Ware Racing boy. Absolutely. Noah Lewis has recovered to 11th position after some of his troubles earlier. Overstreet in 12th. Then you have Haller. Ashton still in decent contention in 14th. Hawley in 15th. Schuler in 16th. Saponsky quietly in 17th. Eggert still trying to fight his way through traffic in 18th. Olsen and Torres rounding out the top 20 for this upcoming start in a couple moments or so.
That is the case. 22 cars on the lead lap. The other 2 are Fern and Melillo. Once again, J.R. Houston in control of the field as we'll go green flag racing once again from Eldora. Here comes the big time slide job from Houston. It'll get him into the outside wall. And now they'll be side by side once again for the top spot. They're side by side behind them as well. A pair of matching cars in Ellis and the Bailey Curry machine, as now they'll duke it out for position number 3. Move Berryhill to the top spot. J.R. Houston, though, he wants a piece of it once again.
Berryhill still riding along the cushion, though. Down the back straightaway, Houston with a good run. Houston tries to set up the slide. Slide job behind Ryan Ellis, looking to fight for 3rd position. Caution is out. Multiple drivers spun around the backstretch. More others stack up. Krisky involved in a 2nd incident already in the past 10-15 laps. 2-3 others involved. Joey Gase was the trigger point in the battle for 7th with Stephen Ellis.
And that was indeed the case, as working down the back straightaway, it looks like Stephen Ellis got a little bit loose after he hit the outside wall off the exit of turn number 2. It spins Joey Gase broadside in the middle of the field, somehow able to not get hit there by any oncoming traffic. Ellis was around on the back straightaway, as you mentioned, as he was kind of the catalyst for this accident, but it was really the damage that happened behind, as Casey Elliott looked like he got run over a little bit from behind by Torres. Melillo comes and gets a little bit of damage in that as well. And then, as you mentioned, David Krisky, his Oscar Myers Mustang gets a little bit bent up as well on the front end of this as they'll work it on by. So, again, completing what is now lap 49 of 75 here at Eldora. It's Tanner Berryhill who holds on to the lead. And, again, 22 cars on the lead lap. David Krisky, the first car scored any laps down. It's actually, he'll be scored 3 laps down along with Matthew Lady, who's looking to get back on the lead lap. And Justin, we've seen something a little bit different this week, a quicker trigger perhaps, if you will, on these yellow flags, but the accidents have just been coming a little bit harder and heavier tonight.
Yeah, indeed, and these drivers have been really fighting for some of these positions. As more cars get waved around here, this is going to get interesting how these drivers play it out here. It's shown so far, Blake, that a lot of drivers are wanting to be aggressive. They do not want to be patient. They want to try and fight for whatever positions they can as quick as they can on this track.
And that's certainly the case. It seems to be a theme wherever you go on iRacing. You know, with all the oval, all the dirt, road course race, it seems like there's a common thing amongst everything, especially with restarts and pretty much any form of racing that you come across here on iRacing being double file, is how important getting a launch, getting that track position is when everybody's bunched up, how important it is, especially for these leaders, because you talk about, Justin, how many times we've already had to mention during these long green flag runs that, you know, Tanner Berryhill, J.R. Houston, Ryan Ellis have to deal with lap traffic and how important it is to get clear of that and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's so crucial because being held up by only one car can cost you a few tenths of a second, and that is very, very small amount of distance, mind you, to have on the racetrack when it comes to dirt racing. In some of the races in preparation for the World of Outlaws Design Racing Championship, specifically with the sprint cars, it's talked about qualifying is one of the most important parts of it, and getting through the heats cleanly and having track position, because it can be so difficult to get yourself to the field, because in those races, you don't have a lot of time. It's sort of the same scenario here. Yes, it's a 75-lap feature, but at the same time, there's not, these laps go by quickly. 20 seconds a lap. When you do the math, that's only about a few minutes or so of racing, give or take. So many drivers want to get themselves through the field as quick as they can to get themselves in contention for a win.
No doubt about it, Justin. Blake McCandless, Justin Prince, and Zach Johnson in the production trailer here for STN. The Kickin' the Tires lower half dash, round number 4 at the world's greatest dirt track. Ready to get set for you once again. This time it's Tanner Berryhill with J.R. Houston to his outside. Berryhill gets a nice launch off the corner. So does Ryan Ellis. Is now the Lobsters are all 3 wide as they enter turn number 1. J.R. Houston will slide up in front of Curry. Ellis will try to make it work on the bottom. They nearly stack him up behind them. Oh, a little bit of contact back in the field. They'll still find a way to make it to 3 as Ellis still trying to make it work on the bottom side.
Still side by side for P2. Big run for Houston. Gets clear into turn 1. Ellis tries to slide job his way back along the bottom of the berm. Can't get the rotation. Houston up to second. Here comes Curry for third position along the outside wall. Back into 3. Gets clear. Everybody's up to the cushion of the top 5.
Everybody navigating up to what is the fast lane here at Eldora, that top side. Here in
big
these
trouble in turn 3 and 4. Multiple cars stacked up. Ellis, HAWLEY, Ashton, Krisky involved. Couple other cars stacked up. They get clear just in time for the leaders. No caution flag as Houston takes the point.
And you're exactly right, Justin. Big accident there. Is Houston able to take advantage? You can already see the lap traffic directly in front of our leaders, and they're going to have to miss more. One car spun here on the entrance of the corner. Houston's going to have to dive and dodge someone, and oh, it looks like he gets tagged. The lap traffic of Steven Ellis that was parked on the high side of turn 1 gets absolutely drilled by oncoming traffic. It was Cody Ware, who was running in the 5th spot, who destroys his race car along with the 46 of Steven Ellis. So Cody Ware, big damage on the 54 as Ellis sits here in the middle of turn 1 on his roof. And again, Justin, that was all the result of the big wreck that happened in 3 and 4. No caution flag. That stacks up the lap traffic directly in front of the race leaders. And unfortunately, nobody is able to escape.
Yeah, very unfortunate with the timing of everything there. Just nowhere for some of the cars to go. Again, we talked about a lot of the bumping and banging. Many drivers were trying to get up to the cushion, and they just ended up making contact down the back straightaway to trigger that massive stack up. Ellis, by the time he got going, leaders were already up to full speed, not knowing maybe what exactly may have happened there, and they had nowhere to go as Ellis had a mistake in 1 and 2 and ended up getting into the wall again a second time.
So, as Jacob Seelman would love to say if he were here with us tonight, wish he could be here with us, but Jacob feeling a little bit under the weather after he woke up this morning, and of course, we know the voice that he has, the octaves that he's able to reach, but think if he's got a little bit of a frog in his throat, he's not going to be able to quite reach that range that we're accustomed to hearing. So first off, want to wish our friend Jacob Seelman a good recovery and hope to see him out here for round number 5, which again, as Jerry was mentioning earlier, will take place next Friday night, also 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we expect that one will start. But Justin, as is commonplace and tradition with this series, can't tell you when or where or what car we'll be using for that race. As Jerry said, they have an idea in mind, but even the broadcasters aren't privy to that information.
Gonna be interesting how that race fares out, especially with the unknowns. It should be a fun one. These have been entertaining races, mind you, especially with some of the races like when I came in for Watkins Glen. That was one of the more fun races I've called in a while. These drivers know how to have fun. Not a fun moment, though, if you're Bailey Curry, as one of the way-brown cars and Justin Shore accidentally hit him in the back end.
No, big-time accident right there, and again, just part of part of the way these guys run under yellow. It's something to see. We're even having action under yellow. So once again, Houston in control now as Berry Hill's on the outside. And it looks like our drivers who have been in the lead haven't got necessarily the best launch. And here comes Bailey Curry up from the 3rd spot. Houston will slide it up high. Berry Hill with the crossover. They're 3 wide on the exit of the corner for just a moment. Here comes Berry Hill to the inside. Here comes Ryan Ellis 3 wide on the bottom, looking for 3rd.
Slide job for Berry Hill. Make it 3-4 wide. In the battle for the race lead, multiple drivers shuffling. Houston slides his way through 1 and 2. Contact Berry Hill and Olsen. Where did Olsen come from? Contact in front. 3, 4, 5 different drivers stack up. Race leads now between Ellis and Co. as the caution is out for Olsen in turn 2. For Olsen.
And it looks like race control will throw the yellow flag, but at the moment a caution is what we're interested in. Who was the race leader? I'm scrolling back through my replay, and I believe that it was Ryan Ellis, who just by a nose, as they were 3 wide on the back straightaway, is going to be able to emerge with the race lead. An accident here in 1 and 2, once again involving Nick Olsen, as it looks like he got stacked up as Berry Hill got into the wall. J.R. Houston got into the wall, got loose. That spun Nick Olsen around. Nowhere for Olsen to go as he punches his nose to the inside retaining wall. The caution flag out for just what appears to be that single car spin in Nick Olsen. But fortunately, Justin, for Ryan Ellis, he gets a superb launch off that last restart, and what will eventually be inside 10 laps to go, Ryan Ellis will resume the race lead.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy, and I think the part of the timing for the caution flag there, Blake, was you had so many cars bumping and banging across one another, you never knew. They were probably watching and wondering, is anybody else going to lose control with how many cars are bumping and banging? But now, with 10 to go, there's going to be a ton of it. Already, Ryan Ellis playfully gave a bump to Berry Hill gave a bump, I should say, to Ryan Ellis. These drivers are about to have play time in the mud to see who can come away with this victory.
They will have it. They'll have that play time for the remainder of 9 laps, which also keep in mind the potential to go past the distance if it so warrants. We'll see if that comes into play. 3 lobster cars in the top 4, all led by Ryan Ellis, not only looking for a win in the Kickin the Tires lower half dash in round number 4, he wants a couple of lobsters on his doorstep. Ryan Ellis to the race lead, green flag in the air as Berry Hill has to play defense. He's looking to hold off J.R. Houston on the bottom side. He'll get loose in the slick stuff. Tanner Berry Hill, a good launch off the corner, nearly lockstep, almost looks like chain racing here on the back straightaway. Ellis up top, Berry Hill down low, and also Curry looking for a part of the race lead.
Side by side of the stripe, 8 laps to go, coming to 7. Berry Hill slides his way up to the top side in turn 2. Crossover from Ellis. 3 wide as Curry joins the fun. Contact behind, we stay green as we go 4 wide in 3 and 4. Houston back in the fight, down the bottom side. Curry, Berry Hill with the run on the top side of the stripe.
They make 4 wide work here at Eldora. Ellis gets shuffled back into the 4th spot as they'll pass the lap traffic. Now he cycles back up to 2nd. Oh, there's a lap car stopped in the middle of the track. Thankfully, they alt F4'd out of this, but Ryan Ellis nearly gets turned here on the exit of the corner, and now the caution flag waves as Ellis was out of control. Perhaps an accident happening in the back of the field as well, but there was a parked lap car in the middle of the track. I believe it was Casey Elliott, if I'm not mistaken, who was parked here right in front of our race leaders. He called the tow truck in time, but not before the yellow flag came out. So we'll sort these things out as it looks like timing and scoring going to award the lead to Tanner Berryhill. Second will go to Bailey Curry. Third, J.R. Houston. And unfortunately for Ryan Ellis, he's going to be cycled all the way back into fifth after he got dangerously loose on the exit or entrance of turn 3.
Yeah, that got very, very dicey indeed now, but it's going to be the matter, though, of it's going to get wild here. Wilder, I should rather say, Blake, because now we're talking about a 2-3 lap shootout to decide the winner, and as we've seen, these drivers not afraid to fight and make contact. On these starts as well, that berm of the racetrack right against the wall has been working compared to when it's the mid to long run. The cushion has been the preferred line, so there are multiple different lines that could work here to try and take home this checker flag. We're about to find out which line gets one of the front runners this checker flag tonight.
And we'll see the launch that Berryhill gets. It has not been all roses for our race leader, as it seems like second, third seems to be the preferred spot almost on these restarts. Berryhill and Curry, Houston McFadden, Ryan Ellis, and Jared Overstreet. Those are your top 3 rows with just 4 laps here to decide it here from Eldora. Call it 3 as now we'll take the green flag. Tanner Berryhill gets the launch out front. He'll lead a hard charging pack of wicked Maine lobsters behind him. Here comes Bailey Curry looking for a piece of the race lead.
Berryhill rides along the cushion. Big slide job from Curry. He tries to go up. Crossover from the Bane machine. Here comes the run on the high side from behind, riding the wall, is the S3 machine of Kyle McFadden. He slide jobs in the battle. Side by side for the race lead. Curry slides up, squishes. Berryhill caution is out. Green-white checkered time as 3 cars crash on the front straightaway. Joey Gase upside down.
Gase upside down, and I'll tell you one driver who did not want to see that caution flag come out, and that was Kyle McFadden. Where in the world has he been all race long? Has been mostly in the back portion of the top 10. And I'll tell you what, Justin, riding right along and even making contact with the outside wall, that machine was booking it on the top side. Luckily for McFadden, as I believe scoring will eventually cycle out here, McFadden will move up into position number 3 on the inside. So now Curry cycles out to the race lead, which, again, Justin, I don't know if you want to be there. Berryhill, it seems like Berryhill and Curry have traded the lead each of the last, so let's call it just 5 or so, 6 restarts. Nobody's able to hang on to the race lead.
Yeah, this has been where if you start in second, it's almost you prefer it to be that way because you're able to get a better slide and better amount of momentum compared to, say, being as the leader by the time things get set up here. And it puts you at risk, if you're the leader, it seems, to get squished up to the top and lose momentum that way. So it's almost been very difficult to be able to defend as the lead car off these starts tonight.
It has been difficult. We'll see who is up for the challenge. It'll be Curry with the race lead, Berryhill in second, as those two guys have mainly run up front for the majority of the night. It'll be Kyle McFadden, perhaps a long shot to win this one, but he's in prime position, followed by Jared Overstreet directly behind him on the outside, or excuse me, that's the 95 machine of J.R. Houston. So now, top 2, Curry, Berryhill. McFadden may want a piece of it as well. Green-white checkered, the first of 3 attempts, and a nice launch here for Bailey Curry into 1.
Berryhill cycles his way to second. Curry up to the point. Curry rides along the cushion in 1 and 2. Berryhill tries to gain momentum. Berryhill taps the wall, hooks it left, saves the car. Curry pulls away, and another caution flag as multiple drivers flip on the back straightaway.
And that was a huge accident that took part. near about the 10th, the battle for the 10th position. It was Noah Lewis and Colin Fern who locked up together. Fern gets turned in front of the field, and then you have a whole host of cars that were involved in that one. David Kriske, Noah Lewis, Mona Robin was involved in that one as well. Enrique Torres gets turned around. Matthew Lady is not able to find his way by. Justin Malillo barely escapes it as Fern went for a wild ride as he barrel rode about 7 or 8 times here down the back straightaway. Again, not what these leaders wanted to see as we were about to take the white flag the next time across the stripe, but now chalk down 1 green-white checkered attempt. We now have 2 of 3 left.
Yeah, and a few of these, I think Curry might have been able to hold on by a decent margin if they got that white flag with how good of a launch he got and how big a mistake Barry Hill made on that bottom line. Now it's going to be more difficult for Barry Hill to try and keep up for this race victory. But give a shout again to McFadden. He talked about it tonight, didn't get too much time for preparation for this tonight, and ended up qualifying in 6th. He felt very confident, very happy with that qualifying performance. Now he's having a good race performance.
He certainly is, and late in the going, he could be the surprise story. Started in 7th, ran there for a majority of the race, and now finds himself worked up to the top row. It'll be Curry, McFadden, Berryhill, Houston, Ellis, and Overstreet, your top 6. As once again, our points leader, Bailey Curry, looking to try and complete it here at Eldora as he gets a good launch. Slow start from McFadden. Green flag in the air. Call it a car length lead for Curry as they head into 1.
Curry slides up to the top, blocks off McFadden, move Berryhill up to 2nd. Curry tries to run away as they continue to tangle 2-3 wide for 2nd. More cars flipping around the back straightaway. Can Curry get the white flag for the race to be official? Answer is no. Another caution flag, Noah Lewis involved.
And it looked like Curry was being able to come down the home stretch there, but a little bit of contact there in the back of the field. Once again, Rahman went around, as well as a couple of other cars after making contact. They tried to make it 3, almost 4 wide here down the back straightaway, and largely a couple of the names that we talked about being involved in our last accident, they were involved in this one. Colin Fern, the 83 of Justin Schuler, got spun around. Noah Lewis went barrel rolling down the back straightaway. So a couple of repeat incidents that I guarantee you, Justin Prince, Bailey Curry did not want to see, because with all the troubles that our leader has had, he had the launch, he had about a car length and a half lead, and he looked like he was well on his way to perhaps visiting victory lane tonight.
Yeah, he had that perfectly handled, had a good start, had Berryhill fight for 2nd position to take away some of the pressure. Now he's back to trying to worry about Berryhill on this start here in case Berryhill goes for the slide jump. So it's going to be tricky. How Curry handles this restart could determine if he comes away with the checker flag by a good margin, or if we see a bumping and banging finish between him and Berryhill, even Ellis and McFadden here, the checkered.
We'll see if they're able to do that. This is the final green-white checkered attempt. The next flag will end the race after we take the white flag, or even if we don't take the white flag, the yellow flag will be the final flag. We'll see. Top 2, Curry is on the inside. Berryhill actually out in front as the pace truck will pull off. Berryhill up to a bit of a lead, but the supposed control is with Curry. Curry will get the launch as he'll leave Berryhill in the dust. Ryan Ellis now getting an inside charge from JR Houston.
Slide job from Berryhill from the bottom to the top. Big contact. Stuffs the bus. Berryhill to the point down the back straightaway. How will Curry respond? Coming to the white flag this time by along the cushion. Houston tries to battle with Ellis, but 1 to go. Race is official.
And we'll take the white flag this time by one more time. Here comes the big slide job from Bailey Curry. Crossover from Tanner Berryhill. They'll work it down the back straightaway for the final time. Berryhill looking to bring it home. He'll go protect down low. Curry on the top side, but it's not going to be enough. Off of turn 4, Tanner Berryhill in the Bang Street Stock will win the 4th round of the Kickin the Tires lower half dash here at Eldora. Tanner Berryhill, a big slide job move there in 1 and 2. And you can see a little bit of displeasure there from Bailey Curry there on the back straightaway, as getting it done and winning tonight is Tanner Berryhill.
What a performance for Berryhill. Fastest car in qualifying tonight. Second quickest in practice. Was one of the quickest in the race. Remember, on that longest green flag run, ran away by as much as 2 seconds. If it wasn't for traffic and some of the caution flags, you have to wonder how much he'd be able to pull on away. And Curry's has one question in mind, I believe, after this, Blake. Did he get the lobsters?
Well, it seemed like for a while there, Justin, that the battle for the race lead was going to be the battle to win the lobsters. And fortunately for Bailey Curry, his wicked main lobster machine comes home first out of the cars who shared that paint scheme. So Bailey Curry takes down second. He already had the race, or the points lead, rather, coming into tonight. And now he's going to be able to get treated with a couple of lobsters, fresh lobsters, courtesy of Wicked Maine Lobster, on his doorstep. So congratulations to Bailey Curry. Brings it home second, but still gets perhaps what is a very valuable prize in that. And how about Ryan Ellis directly behind him? He comes up one spot short of not only the lobsters, but he'll bring it home in third. So this is the full race rundown here for the fourth round of the Kickin' the Tires lower half dash. Tanner Berryhill brings down the win. Bailey Curry in second. Ryan Ellis brings it home in third. J.R. Houston in fourth. Kyle McFadden finishes up in fifth. Cody Ware in sixth. Jared Overstreet seventh. David Kriske in eighth. How about Justin Malillo brings it home ninth, and Enrique Torres, he was involved in a couple of those spins at the end. He brings it home in 10th.
Lady comes home in 11th. Altis in 12th position. Ramen in 13th spot. Shore 14th. Olsen bumping and banging day today in 15th. Howler in 16th. Lewis and Fern round out the drivers on the lead lap. Well, Sapansky, first driver a lap down. Everybody else, double-digit laps down tonight. St. Hilaire in the top 20 tonight, Blake.
And he finishes up in 20th. 21st was Joey Gase, who ended up flipping there and eventually pulling it behind the wall. Seth Eggert finished up in the 22nd spot. 23rd goes to Jason Ashton. 24th, Andrew Hawley. 25th, Stephen Ellis. 26th, Casey Elliott. 27th, Tommy Joe Martins. And 28th, and finishing 71 laps down, was Stephen Parsons. And we've caught up with our race winner tonight, Tanner Berryhill. And Tanner, I'll tell you what, you and both Bailey Curry exchanged a lot of blows during this race, back and forth. Seems like every restart that we had, one of you guys was changing and being the leader, but you finally got it done and threw a huge slider into two to complete the task tonight.
Man, yeah, that was a blast. I think the race is probably a little better this time, and my time to connect to TeamSpeak was a little better too. So all around improving with this sim racing.
And it certainly is. But, we talked about you came into tonight, 10th in points, grabbed a ton of points the last time at Eldora, grabbed a healthy amount of points at Watkins Glen. Didn't show up to Daytona, but every time you've been out here, Tanner, it seems like you've been one of the guys to come out here and beat.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. Got to thank everyone for putting it on. Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires, Ryan and Cody. They got all of us racers or ex-racers back together to do this deal. So ton of fun. It's a blast to be able to race online when you can't in real life.
Well, and with all the news coming here momentarily, Tanner, what are you looking forward to? Obviously, some schedules being released here and there and whatnot. And, with this, hopefully what we'll call this streak of just, being locked down and what have you, hopefully coming to an end here sometime soon. What are you most looking forward to about, the real life racing being able to come back? And what do you think you're looking forward to with the growth of iRacing, the future of iRacing here?
Man, yeah, certainly I'm excited for real racing to be back in action. I don't have anything lined up right now to drive myself, but still working on some stuff to do some sprint cars and maybe a couple Xfinity races later this year. But, aside from that, though, man, I can't wait to go out and eat dinner, to be honest with you. I just can't wait.
You're not, I'm in agreement with you there. It's been a little bit too long. As someone who probably eats out a little more than I should, it's definitely been something that I've missed doing.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I don't know if you guys are from this area, but I can't wait to go walk around Birkdale with my girlfriend and our new dog and hang out and eat dinner.
I know certainly about it, but Tanner, we'll go ahead and hand you the mic one more time. No, it's a lot of people that help get you here, and whether it's in your racing career in real life or here on iRacing. So we'll hand you the mic.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for the support. Like I said, man, this is a fun thing that Ryan and Cody have put together for us, of course, with the help of Jerry Jordan and Kicking the Tires. So I tried to run the lobster main scheme today, because if you won, then you got 2 pounds of lobster for free, but I couldn't get it to work. So I'm pretty disappointed about that. But shout out to them too for being supportive of this.
Oh, no doubt about it. That was probably one of the great things. So when I read that pre-race that they were doing that promotion, I mean, I was kind of disappointed I wasn't racing, because I could use some lobster right about now. But Tanner, we thank you. Congratulations on your win, and moving up once again in the point standings.
Thanks for having me. See you guys later.
All right, that's Tanner Berryhill, your winner tonight. And with Ryan Ellis, he brought it home in third after some big battles up there outside the top five. Justin Prince has caught up with him.
Yes, indeed, Ryan. Very competitive battle for the race lead tonight. How were you feeling after such a tight-fought battle up in the front between you and the rest of the top four?
It was crazy. I had no business being in the top 3 or 4, but I lucked out and got a top 3 finish. I think Cody was a little bit quicker than me, and so was JR. It was a lot of fun. These street stocks at Eldora, they're like a good mix of where anybody can really drive them, but it definitely takes a lot of talent to drive them there at the end. And I think Bailey and Tanner were kind of the class of the field today.
Now let's talk about your thoughts as this race progressed tonight. Of course, damage was on tonight, lots of bumping and banging. What was kind of your approach at the start of the race, and how do you feel that turned out as the race progressed tonight?
So being on the admin side, it's kind of been an adventure. We were worried first in the heats. We weren't sure if everybody was going to transfer out. And then I found out, just like everybody else did, probably coming to the green flag, that we only had 1 reset. So I was just babying it around for the first 40, 50 laps. And then after that, tried to get after it a little bit because everybody was pretty racy up front. So it was a lot of conservation at first, but it was a blast. I love doing this.
Let's talk about the lobster partnership. It was a good battle between you and your fellow lobster paint scheme mates amongst the top 5 tonight. How are you feeling about that? And how
it
did
was
that
pretty
come
cool. That's actually what I think J.R. Houston was telling me just after the race, that he was going to dump me a little bit more. He actually ran me so clean. But in the lobster standings, I came up second to Bailey Curry, and Eric Howard is actually a member of this league. He's a good friend of Mason St. Hilaire, who's obviously my boss and general manager of a Go Fast Racing. Eric Howard works with Wicked Maine Lobster, and he kind of put a little bounty on everybody and said whoever the top finisher was that was running a Wicked Maine Lobster scheme would get 2 lobsters sent to him. So that was a pretty cool little deal to do. And obviously we had a bunch of 32 Wicked Maine Lobster cars out there today and came up 1 spot short, but I'm not a seafood guy anyhow, so that's fine.
Of course, it was talked about a little bit that there's another race coming up next week. Any hint on where the direction may go?
I think we're leaning that Pro 2 race at Watkins Glen was a blast. So I think we're going to take a page out of that book and probably do Pro 2 at a road course again. We narrowed it down to a few. So it's always got to be a good mix of, a drafting track and tracks that are easy to learn, because we really want this series to be something that anybody can hop in and run pretty fast without having to do a lot of practice. So I think you can kind of narrow down a few tracks. We were thinking the Daytona Roval there for a little bit. We do a test session like Monday or Tuesday night, and we'll kind of figure it out from there.
Anyone you want to thank before I let you go?
Definitely Jerry Jordan from Kicking the Tires, Casey from Audio Video Specialist, Russian Machine, Josh Dell from Kansas Land Tire, and everybody else that's kind of helped support me in real racing as well as the iRacing side. So I've had a lot of fun. Can't thank Jerry enough, and everybody at Kicking the Tires for allowing us to do this, because without them, we wouldn't have you guys, we wouldn't have a broadcast, and we probably wouldn't have a series. So thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you very much for the time. Congratulations, the top 3.
Thank you very much.
That was Ryan Ellis coming home with the top 3 tonight. Back over to you, Blake.
Well, and Ryan, we want to wish him well as he makes his way out here, that he will be running in the Saturday Night Thunder with the eNASCAR. He announced today, got a new sponsor, or has his partners at Metro Express jumping on board with him for the Saturday Night Thunder, so you won't want to miss that as well as he looks to represent everybody over here at Kicking the Tires in this lower half dash well tomorrow night. You can watch that at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. That's at enascar.com/live if you want to check out the Saturday Night Thunder that's going on over here at iRacing. But Justin, I'll kick it over to you. Final thoughts on a repeat track combo here in the Kicking the Tires lower half dash, but we were able to find a way to once again put on a good show.
Very wild, very fun show tonight. Very competitive race amongst the top four. Can't wait to see what the next race has in store.
Certainly so. Well, for Zach Johnson, for Justin Prince up here in the booth, I'm Blake McCandless saying so long from the world's greatest dirt track here at Eldora. Once again, we bid a farewell and a congratulations to Tanner Berryhill, your winner of the 4th round of the Kicking the Tires lower half dash. For everybody here at STN, I'm Blake McCandless saying good night. We hope to see you 1 week from today for round number 5. Where it is, we don't know, but we know it'll be a good show. Take care, everybody.